Profile share via email report story. Chapter 20 Facing the Consequences. Why are you avoiding me? Izuku sighed deeply, the breath he has been holding in as he mentally swore in his head. He didn't know what to say. Should he, though, or should he just deny it? Well, it's pretty obvious on which he was going to pick. Avoiding you. No, I'm not. He was lying all over again. He just wished he could just escape this conversation as soon as possible. Ochako, of course, didn't buy that answer. Deku-kun, it's so obvious, you know, she replied. Quit saying these stuffs and tell me the truth. Actually, the reason why Ochako is doing this is to know if she could see if Izuku likes her or not. It's her way of confessing. She just thought that this will go as planned. Izuku knew that he wasn't going anywhere. There's no lie that she finally has the idea of him avoiding her. He can't escape this anymore. He wasn't prepared to tell her. Please, Deku-kun, she pleaded. Izuku took in a sharp inhale and spoke, with hesitation. He opened his mouth but still, no words came out. He didn't know what to say but to just shut himself up. What will be her reaction? It's about Bakugo, isn't it? She said in a lowly tone after the long silence Izuku has put between them. The green-haired could feel his heart stopped when she told him those. Shocked, he was, knowing the fact that it has to do something with her childhood friend. He kept quiet, still left there with no words. The silence seems like a yes to her. Due to that answer, she began frowning sadly. You saved me, didn't you? Sorry. He didn't quite comprehend what she just said. She emphasized it more. You saved me when I drowned, back at PE class, am I right? Izuku finally understood and looked down. He shut his eyes and gave her a small nod as his response. There's no way he could lie to that. Ochako felt hurt by the fact that he didn't tell her. And also that he lied about it, saying that Bakugo saved her instead. Can't believe he played dumb with her. Why did you lie to me about it? She asked him. Stupid. Really. Izuku can't speak at all the words he wanted to say so badly, just doesn't want to come out. What did Bakugo tell you? Should he tell? I mean, does he have the right to? After he tells the truth, what will happen next? Nothing can point out to his assumptions. What will he get? We'll just have to see it for ourselves. Deku-kun, she demanded for an answer already. Izuku took in a sharp inhale before eventually telling her. Bakugo told me to avoid you. Finally, after hearing the truth, she spoke. And why did you agree to that? He then realized, why did he? Because he likes you and I didn't want to get in the way. She couldn't believe it, all those avoiding, gap and space between them, is because he didn't want to get in the way of someone who likes her. Will that choice make her happy? Not talking to her all of a sudden, not thinking of what she feels about it, did he even try to contemplate about it? Why? Promoted stories. You'll also like. A Million Reasons. Iswocha fanfic. Under. 70.5K988. Ochako Uraraka and Izuku Midoriya have always had feelings for each other, but they never wanted to admit it. They have always wanted to find opportunities to tell each. A hero's love desire. 3.6K62. It's almost Valentine's Day and Izuku Midoriya, Deku is starting to realize that he has a crush on Ochako Uraraka, but he doesn't know if she feels the same way. He tries. Hikari. Open hollow corner bracket volume 2 Omake's close hollow corner bracket. 7.3K196. Blank, underscore, blank, and quote. This is the story of how we all became the greatest heroes, end quote. Blank, underscore, blank. Key holder Boku no Hero Academia fanfic. 2672. First, there was ice. Pain followed. This is how it has always been. But when you're hurt and alone, will anyone come to help, despite all your missteps? Fumiko Hanab. Mania. Katsuki Bakugo. 161K 7.5K. Mania UA. High is the birthplace of legendary pro heroes and a bountiful source of memories. Memories are meant to be cherished. Memories are what make our lives. Look at me, Bakugo X Reader. 331K 9.8K. You spent your childhood defending your best friend, Izuku, claiming that one day the two of you will be a pro hero duo, not caring that your friend is quirkless. While something unforeseen completed 14.3K 385. Izuku Midoriya is a young high schooler who oftentimes keeps to himself, and he enjoys this tranquil lifestyle. He enjoys comic books and keeps his grades up in his your. She said in low, shaky tone which is uncontrollable. As if that shaky voice was about to turn into a cry. Her eyes squinted, trying to hold her anger and cries. He watched her face with fright, with the face he thought that almost made his heart sink. You Uraraka-san. He called, worried with her awful expression. She furrowed her brows. Is that why you avoided me all these past months? Just because of that, she told. Do you ever consider how I feel about that? He flinched at her raising tone, that started to make his body tremble. And no, he has nothing to say. This was his own fault. Do you think I would be happy off with someone I don't even like? You never think about my feelings. He felt awful. His eyes widened with it trembling. She was crying, the tears rolling out of her eyes, with her face all scrunched up with furiousness. Her drenched eyes completely worn out from her tears. Her cries turned into sobs as she closed her eyes, covering it with her hands. Her loud whimperings echoing across the whole quiet area. This wasn't what he wanted. He didn't know this would happen. He thought what he did was right and is for the best. But he was wrong. Seeing this result was something he will regret for the rest of his life. The view of the bubbly, cheerful, bright and loving girl he always sees, is crying in sorrow, weeping hard, all because of him. That was the last thing he wanted to see. He couldn't forgive himself anymore. He hated seeing her cry. This was too painful for him to witness. He hated himself for hurting her. Tell me, Deku-kun. Huh, she looked up at him, slowly with her now swollen eyes, full of tears. She spoke weakly through her small hiccups. Do you want to avoid me? He then averted his gaze. His eyes looked down to the ground, with his brows saddening. It was too much for him to see the sight of her face. He couldn't face her. No, he answered, sternly. Why? She responded. If you never wanted to avoid me, why is that? Izuku can't understand himself. Why? Of course, he didn't want to avoid her, but why? Is it because of these eerie feelings he's having? But is it really the cause? He doesn't know. He doesn't know at all. He can't understand. He can't say it. He actually doesn't know what to say. What is the real reason behind it? He just doesn't know how to put it. There's Ochako, still waiting for him to finish his sentence for her answer. I don't know. I don't know. That's all he said. Nothing else. She scowled at him with his response. Nothing hurts more than not knowing the truth or not telling it. She can't believe that he doesn't know anything. She clicked her tongue in annoyance, taking a step forward. Her cry softened as she passed by his figure. She added before she leave. You know, Deku-kun, you may be the smartest student in here but you're actually an idiot. She then left him, alone on the spot. Standing steadily with his whole body numb. He couldn't move a muscle. He doesn't know what's happening. What should he do? Should he go after her? But tell her what? He gritted his teeth and covered his eyes with his hands, breathing heavily. A small tear came out of his eye. I'm such a loser. Midoriya. Someone called him from his gate. Izuku looked up, with a bleak expression. The miserable feeling in his guts caused him to feel weak. He then spotted Jiro in front of his house from afar. Jiro-san, he weakly said under his breath. Jiro was all wearing formal and pretty clothes, all readied up for the date. Unfortunately, her date didn't show up. He then went straight to him. Have you seen Kaminari? I tried to call him and to see if he's home, but he isn't anywhere. He cocked an eyebrow then. That's weird. He was excited for this day. He then checked on his phone and saw a text from the guy himself. He mentally slapped himself for not checking his messages. I'm going to hit the bar, something happened. It was read there. Something happened. He repeatedly read the message. What happened? She asked the guy. He looked over to her. I don't know. He said something came up and that he will be at the bar. The bar? Why? He shrugged his shoulders, not knowing the answer. The girl pouted with confusion, but then looked back at Izuku again, noticing small bags underneath his eyes. Hey, you okay? She asked him, concerned with his condition. He widened his eyes by surprise. Oh, it's nothing, it's just that it's cold. She nodded in return. Ah, I see, she went past him. I'll be going now, I have to see what's wrong with that idiot. Izuku gave off a small chuckle. Alright, good luck, she then waved as she made the leave. After that, that dejected face soon appeared once again on his face. That incident that had occurred just now was so unbearable that he can't get it out of his head. His new traumatic feeling was seeing Ochako cry. He was scared to see that face again. His heart felt like it sank deep down, causing his body to give in and collapse. His eyes shocked with tears. It was a very bad experience. It was his fault. What should he do next? He made his way back to his room, and landed on his bed harshly, beginning to overthink again. But he suddenly stopped, sitting back up and laying back down. He just doesn't know what to do. He wants to be distracted from these thoughts and leave it be, but it sure was challenging. He couldn't stop thinking about how stupid he was in letting a person cry, especially when that person is Ochako. He hates himself. Kaminari sat down on one of the stools in a club, the place where he had forbidden himself to go to anymore. But because of the news of his dad, he can't think anymore but just began to have a breakdown, forgetting everything. He took another shot of one of those alcohol at the back of the bartender. He was already drunk and his head was spinning with his mind completely blurry. After drinking another hit, he couldn't take another, so he rested a bit on the stool. Hey, what's your name? A sudden, fine lady then sat next to the guy. He gazed at her with hooded eyes. He didn't answer her back but just looked away, not interested in the girl. The girl bit her lip, slightly disappointment after being ignored. She then sighed and suddenly sat on his lap, facing at him straight, looking intently in his eyes. Kaminari didn't react at all due to all the alcohol already affecting his senses. The girl had interest in him and tried her best to get his attention. If Kaminari was still a playboy, he would have already played along, but he changed and didn't want that side of him anymore. But things just got more complicated for him. She circled his chest gently around with her finger, looking at him full of slight lust for him. She then spoke. Are you dating anyone right now? Date. He slurred out. He looked around the area and started to regain his awareness of his surroundings. The thought of her in his head, the image of Jiro playing in his mind. The girl he has been longing to be with now made him realize what he has done. Date. He said it again. Date. Wait, I'm late for my date with Jiro. His mind was still not processing well, which made the tone of his voice still sound drunk. His words just slurring more out of his mouth about him being late for his date. But the girl didn't want to let him go. "Don't go," she whined, wrapping her arms around his neck, bringing him closer to her. He backed away, weakly, repeatedly saying, "No, I'm late. Jiro is waiting for me already. At 9 p.m. Who goes out on a date at that time?" she told. "Unless it's me." "Shut up. I need to go now. I want to see her." But his eyes caught the girl he did want to see. Unfortunately, she had witnessed something very unexpected which was unbearable to be explained. She scowled at him and turned around to walk away from him. Jiro. Jiro. One of his brows raised up, realizing what's happening. Jiro. He pushed off the lady and ran as fast as he could to catch up to her. She waited for him and even went there for him, but all she found was him being late on a date he came up with and instead, doing inappropriate doings again like his last self. She hates it he never changed. Her cries were soft as she walked on the streets, feeling her heart stirred up with painfulness and disappointed with Kaminari's behavior. Jiro, Kaminari shouted as he reached her. She stopped her tracks, but instead of facing back at him, she remained still, not looking into his eyes. "Please, it's not what it looks like." She gritted her teeth, looking back a bit, enough for him to see her half face. But that part already made everything worse, seeing tears coming out of her eyes. "Scumbag," she angrily commented before taking the leave. Faster before they spot us," Momo loudly whispered, quietly hiding in the bushes of a certain garden. Todoroki checked the vicinity before running out of the open. They were careless. By the time where they had the perfect chance to escape secretly, Momo might have accidentally left her bedroom door unlocked, alarming the parents that she wasn't in her room when they checked inside. "Sorry about just now," she apologized, feeling embarrassed. The two continued hiding in the same spot, praying that neither the mom and dad wouldn't catch them. "I think it's clear," Todoroki said in reassurance as he went out of the bushes, carrying Momo's suitcase. As the both of them came out, they quickly ran as fast as they could to the train station. They were running with all their might, seeing the station just in front of their eyes. Just a few blocks awa, he gasped when he spotted Ojiro ahead of them, halting them from afar. "Damn it," he showed off a furious look at him, stopping his tracks. "Ojiro," Momo said under her breath, now seeing her parents behind him. "Give our daughter back," shouted the dad. Todoroki gritted his teeth and tried to run the other way, but unfortunately, there were two cops from behind, stopping the two. He didn't know what to do but admitted defeat. He surrendered. They really couldn't be together at all. Momo looked at Todoroki straight into his eyes, if there was another way. But the eyes that Todoroki had were full of hopelessness. He saddened his eyes as he let go of his grip on her hand. She lightly gasped with the reaction as Todoroki pushed her away towards her parents. "I'm sorry," he said, looking down to the ground. "Todoroki," she called, with a tear escaping out of her eyes. She couldn't believe that he just let her go just like that. "I promise I'll do everything I can for us to be together." "What happened to that?" Ojiro then swiftly grabbed a hold of her hand and dragged her back to the mom while the dad went straight to Todoroki. Todoroki looked up slowly, seeing the man with an irritated face for him. "Bastard, one more time if this happens, I'll send Momo as far away from you if you like that." He threatened him with flaring eyes. Todoroki kept looking at him with a dejected expression with no words left to say. He indeed got threatened, so he just accepted it. He gave up. "Let go of me," Momo angrily told under her breath. Ojiro went closer to her ear, tightening the grip on her hand. She hissed quietly with the sudden actions, feeling rather disgusted. He then whispered, I need to tell you something. She got taken aback and opened her eyes with the words he said. She was confused at first, so he proceeded. I can help you and him get back together. Man, I'm sorry for not posting earlier as you guys said I should. I've been so busy this week because I had this badminton competition, sadly got third place, happy crying face, and I had camp after that, so that's why I couldn't make it earlier as possible. Sorry about that sad face. Also, the following week will be busier. For I will have more camping in the weekends, so it's either I post the next chapter earlier or after the camp. So sorry, sad face. Anyways, I hope you like this chapter and see you in the next. Please vote if you like, and I just wanna say that thank you for everything you guys did. Voting, motivating me, messaging me, and commenting in this story. I enjoyed seeing this and talking to you guys. Thank you so much. Where stories live. Discover now.